What up, everybody? In BMF Season 2, Episode 2, we see Meech expanding his operation into Cleveland, Ohio, but not without some hurdles that he had to get over first. And I've been saying this since Season 1, that I appreciate the realness of this show, from the food trucks being shut down to his stash house getting robbed and all kinds of stuff that went down in Season 1. I appreciate the realness. To me, it's the realest show on TV, and watching it is like reliving. I can't say it necessarily brings back old memories, but it's like watching it is almost like deja vu or something, like reliving the things that's happened over again. Before I get started, I want to talk about something that was addressed in episode 1. First, it was talked about when Meech met up with K9 before K9 decided to work with Meech. K9 told Meech, people that get ahead in the game do it from the bonds they make off honesty and loyalty. Now, keep that in mind as I go forward in this video. And Meech, when he combined the 50 Boys and the 12th Street to tell them that they are now BMF, he told them something that was very important as well. If you're not even a stand-up guy, get out of here. In the game, there's basically predominantly two types of people. You see the person who sees the bigger picture. That's like somebody like Meech. They're a hustler. They're really trying to build something. Basically, they look at it like building a business. Then you get the second type of person, and that's the person who is after that quick dollar. Someone, for example, who, to make it just real easy, let's just take somebody, a dealer who robs a dope fiend for $200, right? So he gets that $200 real quick. Now he has $200 in his pocket. But someone like Meech wouldn't have just robbed the dope fiend for $200. He would have continued to bring that dope fiend back for business time and time again, and made way more than $200 in the long run off of that one person. And it goes the same way off robbing your connect. You could rob your connect one time and have a big supply, but you got to think in the long run, how much more are you gonna make having a steady connect of good product? One of my first connects told me there's two types of people in the game. He told me there's the club owner and the gangster. He told me that you need to be the club owner. And this is when I was looking to retaliate when someone had done me dirty, and I was looking to retaliate, and that's when he told me that. But he already knew that I was a stand-up guy. He already knew that I could be trusted, because before I ever got in the game, he had left pounds of weed in my place, I guess, just to keep it there for whatever, but I never touched a gram of it. Getting into the move Meech makes into Cleveland, he goes with his sister and his mother to go to his grandmother's birthday in Cleveland. And while he's there, he plans to meet up with his cousin to move his business into Cleveland. And he gets his cousin, who's currently selling weed for somebody, he gets his cousin to introduce him to his connect. And Meech makes an arrangement to put him on. At this point, it looks like everything's good. Meech now has B. Mickey, who is responsible for getting the work from Detroit to Cleveland. So we thought from the trailer, that's why it's hard to go off anything you see in the trailer, because they'll try to make you believe one thing and when it's actually another. We heard in the trailer Terry asking Meech that he had work with his sister and his mom in the car, and it looked like Meech was, but obviously he didn't bring the work with him, with his mom and his sister in the car. However, while at work in his car business, Terry sees that there is checkpoints across the city of Detroit. And so he tries to contact Meech to tell him that, but was not able to get through to tell him. So he goes to pick up the work himself instead of having B Mickey do it. And we see Terry. I told you we're going to see Terry getting a lot more tougher, and we will see a ruthless side of Terry come out in this season. We see how he bullied the guys at the record shop to get them to give him the work. He said he built this shop, so give him the work. He's going to deliver it. So what he does, he goes to pick up LaWanda and his son, and he hides the work in the baby formula. He puts them in the back seat and pretends like he's driving them. However, he knows there's the checkpoints across the city, and he tries to take a route that he didn't think would have a checkpoint, but he gets pulled over anyway. And like I said about this show, reliving this show, I have been pulled over at a checkpoint and set up by a snitch before and arrested at one of these checkpoints. So this is a real situation when you are in the game, something that you have to worry about. But Terry's pulled over. The cops see LaWanda and his son in the back seat, and LaWanda again helps him out like she did in season 1 with his parents. She tells the cop that she is on her way, pretending to be a passenger in his car, and Terry's just the driver. She tells the cops that she is on the way to Cleveland to meet up with her uncle, just like she did in season 1. And the cops, they take Terry's information, his license and registration, come back to the car, and they let him go. So we know moving forward that Big Meech NT in real life, they use this car service, this limousine car service, to transport weight across different states with secret compartments hidden across the limousines to hide the weight. So we will see them doing this moving forward in this show. This is just a foreshadowing what we will see them once Terry decides to get back in the game. Now we have the delivery of the weight, and Meech learns a valuable lesson about the game in this particular scene. He learns about the second type of person that you come across in the game, that not everybody's seeing the big picture like him. Everybody's not trying to get the best deal and make the most money. Some people just trying to get a quick dollar. So Meech shows up at the delivery to drop off the weight to Terrell, and there's a big party, a lot of people. This is obviously a show of power and muscle on Terrell's behalf to show how all the people he has on his side. They take Meech's gun before he comes into the party. Then that's when Terrell tells Meech he is taking the bigger piece, and basically there's nothing that he can do about it. Meech declines and says give him his work back, and the guns are drawn by all of Terrell's people, telling Meech and his cousin to get up out of there. And at this point, there's nothing Meech can do about it. Just take the L and the lesson. And like I said, reliving through this show, I've had similar experiences to this happen to me in my life twice, and I had to learn the lesson from it each time and move differently. So I'm definitely expecting Meech to learn his lesson from how Terrell and the people in Cleveland, Ohio did him, and to definitely move different when he goes into different cities moving forward. Even though we know he's still going to use the people who are already set up in the cities instead of moving in his own crew, but he's definitely going to move different than how he did with Terrell. But we always see in BMF so far Meech getting back. And when he got back from Terrell, I felt so justified how he got back with Terrell. Terrell thought he had got over 3 kilos. That's a whole lot of money once it's broken down and sold. Terrell came up. He felt like the quick way. I mean, sure, he would have made a few dollars, but if he would have decided to go into business with Meech, that 60 to 100K he would have made would have been like nothing in the big picture over time, being the man in Cleveland. But Meech shows up at Terrell's mama's house, helps her carry in the groceries, and bumps into none other than Terrell in his mama's kitchen. So Terrell tells his mama he got this, he'll put up the groceries. And Meech at that point pulls his gun out on Terrell and lets him know that his cousin is going to be running things from now on, and that Terrell is going to report to his cousin, and if there's any type of problems, that he going to be back at Terrell's mama's house, holding it down like a G, getting his get back on Terrell. Oh, it felt good. See, that's been my favorite part of this show probably so far. I loved it when K9 shot that coach in broad daylight. That was an awesome scene. But the overall storyline with this scene and how Meech got his get back on Terrell, definitely loved it. Probably my favorite scene from this series so far. But moving forward, maybe not the next particular episode, but we definitely could see Meech's cousin in danger from Terrell and possibly Terrell's former connect after this, because Meech's cousin is very young. He's going to be running things. He will be making enemies. He will be putting Terrell's former connect out of business because Terrell will continue to work for Meech's cousin. So they definitely are going to make some enemies here. And Terry said something at the very end of this episode when Meech and Terry got into a fight. He said when the family is divided, this is when they're left most vulnerable and the enemies attack. So definitely see some attacks moving forward concerning this issue. There you have it. Meech expanding his operation BMF into Cleveland, Ohio. Leave your thoughts in the comments.